Good morning, all. Welcome to chapel on this Friday before fall break. The weather turned yesterday, and as I was walking to my car yesterday, I thought it feels like break. And so, bravo, we are all here today. We are making it through the classes, through whatever midterms, finals. You're so close. You're so close. Dear ones, in whatever state of mind and heart you are in this morning, know that you are welcome here. Whoever you are, whoever you know yourself to be, whoever you are becoming. For chapel this morning, all you need is a red hymnal, which I see many of you already have, which is great, or if you don't have one, you can grab one, look on with a friend. Today during chapel, we are marking two events related to the history of this place. It is Founders Day today, when this campus remembers and commemorates the appointment of Reverend Lar Larson, the first professor of what would become Luther College. Also this week, Monday, was Indigenous Peoples Day, and so as part of our acts of remembering, today we will remember and recognize the land upon which this college has been built and those whose histories are tied to it. We are very pleased today to welcome President Jennifer Ward as our chapel speaker, and we are grateful for the musical gifts offered today by Norse Corps. I now invite you to stand as you are able and to get grounded. As we begin, I invite you, as we've been doing, to feel your feet against the floor, to let your body find its balance. You can close your eyes if it feels good to you to do so. Listen for both the silence and the small sounds in this space, and take a moment to breathe deeply. The ground that is beneath your feet, beneath this stage, beneath the foundations of this building, is holy. Let us recognize this land and those for whom it is sacred. This land on which Luther College stands has been home to the Iowa, Sac, Fox, and Dakota people and their ancestors. As part of the neutral ground created by the U.S. government to control the movement, lives, and livelihood of Native peoples, this land was home to the Winnebago and Ho-Chunk during their forced displacement from Wisconsin. As we stand here, let us bless and offer thanks for this land, even as we acknowledge and lament the circumstances that brought people to it and displaced people from it. This blessing begins with the land underfoot. You have a story to tell, a quiet theology of creation and despair you have been singing and praying for generations who are unwilling to listen. We sit with you and marvel at the power beneath our bodies. You are a holy source, resourced without much consideration at all. We sit with you and listen to ancient progress and struggle. Tenacity rumbles beneath the imperial curse, earth choked, gasping, and breathing still. We sit with you and confess our economic transactions and waste, all the time spent resisting a relationship and spiritual adoration for this place. We sit with you and all of these things beyond discomfort and into the fullness of grief, into the beginning of repair. And then we give thanks for you and sing praise to the God whose image is all around, whose love is poured into each atom and breath, alive in the fabric of this very land. I invite you to turn to number 837 in your hymnal and join in singing Many and Great, O God.
I pray that God may give you a spirit of wisdom and revelation as you come to know him, so that with the eyes of your heart enlightened, you may know what is the hope to which God has called you. What would it really mean to let light into the eyes of our hearts so that we may know the hope to which God has called us? Founders Day commemorations at Luther College and other places, especially now that they come at the same time as Indigenous Peoples Day, they run the risk of resting solely in the past on the one hand, a thoughtful celebration of this college and its history, of the recitation of the many names associated with the beautiful parts of the history of this place: Larson, Corin, Preuss, Sperati, Noble, and the events that mark significant changes in how we understand who we are. The first non-white students, the first women students, the first music ensemble, the first sports team, the addition of majors and clubs, the planting of Darrell high above campus to catch the wind, solar arrays. On the other hand, we appropriately acknowledge that the Norwegian immigrants who settled here and thought to found a college were not the first people to canoe this part of the upper Iowa River, not the first ones to grow food, not the first ones to raise families and live in community. They were displaced, perhaps not by Laura Larson himself, but nonetheless displaced. On the first hand, joyful celebration and nostalgia. On the other hand, somber reflection and knowing that our prosperity and opportunity were worked out on ground that we found, not ground we created. We see both these things when we face the past of Luther College. At the same time, our text exhorts us to know what is the hope to which God has called us. This is a decidedly future-facing assignment. We don't need hope for what is past, what was already displaced, what was already founded. We only need hope for what is before us. How do we look backwards and look forwards at the same time? How do we hold acknowledgement and contrition in the same place that we hold hope and creativity and a desire for beloved community? There are a couple of well-known possibilities for looking backwards and forwards in our cultural history, neither of which seems very practical. In ancient times, people believed the god Janus, from which we take the name January, had a two-faced head, one that looked to the past and one that looked to the future at the very same time. There was no movement involved in this image, but a static observation of what was behind and what was before. More recently, in 1921, the German philosopher Walter Benjamin bought the Swiss-German artist Paul Klee's painting Angelus Novus, New Angel. Benjamin writes, quote, "A clay painting named Angelus Novus shows us an angel looking as though he is about to move away from something he is fixedly contemplating. His eyes are staring, his mouth is open, his wings are spread. This is how one pictures the angel of history. His face is turned toward the past, where we perceive a chain of events. He sees one single catastrophe, which keeps piling wreckage upon wreckage and hurls it in front of his feet. The angel would like to stay, to awaken the dead, to make whole what has been smashed. But a storm is blowing from paradise. It has got caught in his wings with such violence that the angel can no longer close them. This storm irresistibly propels him into the future to which his back is turned, while the pile of debris before him grows skyward. This storm is what we call progress." End quote. Is this what change feels like? Is this the only way to imagine progress? To be violently battered by winds so powerful that they propel us into the future toward a pile of debris because we can't repair the mistakes of the past or awaken the dead and get an existential do-over? Let me suggest a third possibility. When I was inaugurated as your president, around this very time in 2019, I was asked to choose a theme for that ritual moment. I chose to tie together two references that have always been important to me. One from the poet Rilke, in which he asks a young poet to be, quote, immer im Werden, always questioning, always loving the questions, and always in the process of becoming, knowing that to answer the questions would be to stop growing and stop becoming. The second is from this college's namesake. You may have heard of him, Martin Luther. This life, therefore, he says, is not righteousness, but growth in righteousness. Not health, but healing. Not being, but becoming. What if we thought of the founding of Luther College as an ongoing process, as always becoming? What if every day is a refounding? What if, rather than a pile of debris before us, as we are propelled forward by the storms of change, we see a pile of lessons learned, both positive and negative, a pile of opportunities to repair, but with the eyes of our heart always enlightened by what that looks like for our future together. And a pile of tools, knowledge, trust, empathy, discipline, collaboration, curiosity. What would the ears of our heart hear if we sang Jubilee every single day? What would the eyes of our heart see if we saw both the hope and the intention to refound every single day Luther College? And finally, can we, as a community, love these questions? Amen.
Dear ones, God has made us God's own and has given us our breath, our life, our earth, our hope, our future. May all generations be blessed, now and always, by the mercy of this Creator God, who makes, who loves, who enlivens, and who leads us each and every day into the future that is being prepared for us and for all this world. Amen. Go in peace, sing for joy. Thanks be to God.